Louisiana Senate unanimously passes bill to block control of UN, WHO, and WEF in the state. Okay, that's even as a statement of intent, that's based, as Meat Bun says. Unanimously? I'll remind you again, chat, always be cautious of unanimous votes, always be suspicious of unanimous votes. We'll read on. Maybe this ends up being okay. Suspicious does not mean it has to be dodgy, but look closely, even if it's something you like. Now, it sounds like, just from the title, and I know what some of you are thinking, especially the somewhat more cynical, which is fine. It sounds like it could just be either a motion, like of intent, or something approximate, or what, but they don't make laws in the state, so doing this is just a token gesture. Even as that, it would be better than nothing, but no, it's actually more than that. We'll read on. The Louisiana State Senate has passed a Senate bill with a unanimous vote. The bill is a bold declaration of state sovereignty, setting this is from the Gateway Pundit, so they have a bias, but I agree, setting the stage so far for a legal barricade against the overreach of globalist organizations, the UN, the WHO, and the World Economic Forum. Senate Bill 133, co-authored by Republican state senators Valerie Hodges and Thomas A. Presley, as well as state Republican Representative Kathy Edmondson, aims to ensure that these international bodies have no jurisdiction or authority within the state's boundaries. The World Health Organization, United Nations, and the World Economic Forum shall have no jurisdiction or power within the state of Louisiana. No rule, regulation, fee, tax, policy, or mandate of any kind of the World Health Organization, United Nations, or the World Economic Forum shall be enforced or implemented by the state of Louisiana or any agency, department, board, commission, political subdivision, governmental agents, entity of the state, parish, municipality, or any other political entity, the bill stated. So it's not like a vague, approximate thing. It's comprehensive and strict. This is good. Now, the concern, of course, is that if WHO, UN, or WEF were to pull the federal government's leg and pressure them, they could attempt to overrule Indiana and Louisiana. Oh no, this is Louisiana, and implement those policies against them, and then it wouldn't technically be those globalist organizations doing it, it would be the federal government, but pressured by but then you could pretty easily argue that Louisiana can say, well, we believe that this is an influence coming from these organizations, so we're not going to obey that. And especially, also as a statement of intent, it implies that they wouldn't obey it if they got the chance anyway. Now, it's not obviously perfect, and some legalese could get around this. But it's a nice thing to see happening, you know? It's the kind of thing that makes you think of people of no particular scrumporadedness who might say, like, nothing ever happened, nothing's changed since 10 years ago. Like, this does matter. It is an indication that we are winning hearts and minds. But what does that do? Well, it's done quite a lot already. Think how much worse it could be if no one was standing against all this stuff. And think how much better states like Florida are now when they're defended by people that actually care. It's easy to say, well, you haven't fixed everything yet, so it's hopeless. But it's, I think, more difficult, but profoundly more useful to be a bit more positive in your outlook. Not to the point of blindness, and I hope I don't go that far, but I don't know, man. Let's continue. James says, WF is an unironic doomsday joke organization of people anyway and should just right off and return their grabby hand and back down their damn pants. Yeah, pretty much. Now, all three of those organizations probably do business within them, which is okay. It's the business they do that's not okay that's the problem. And that's the whole thing about, like, we visited some members of the deep state to see just what the hell Trump's talking about. Did they visit the FBI, the CIA, the ATF? Did they visit the DOJ? Did they visit any of the most corrupt edifices of power? Did they visit the probably 75% of US institutions which have, like, very clear corruption if you look deeply into them? No. They sidestepped the issue by going to someone that sent a very cool, by the way, satellite up at a comet. Space is not usually a big vector for corruption, except embezzlement, which there might have been, I don't know. Someone who was undergoing a project which should have been completed 100 years ago, but is still a good thing to pursue, but again, serious embezzlement likely, because they've been successively saying they're doing it for years. And then the third one was I can't remember actually, but they were all just like, this is the part of government work which is either okay or we can present as being okay. It's the shit that isn't okay that we have a problem with. And it's the same thing with WEF, UN, and WHO. I expect there is some okay or even good work that goes on there. It's the shit that isn't good or okay that is the real problem. So don't assume that they're 100% bad, but like James said earlier, that are like unironic, what was it you said exactly? Doomsday joke organization. You've seen Klaus Schwab in his like priestly end of the world cult robes. Yeah, it's that shit, but as a supposedly bureaucratically and legitimate organization. And yeah, I've seen very little good from the UN. I don't know as much about them as well. I don't know much about any of them, to be honest. But I learned a fair bit about the WHO during COVID, and a lot of the shit they advocated was just plain evil. Yeah, James, they do a lot of crazy shit. Yeah, these organizations should not have power over any nation which is self-respecting and sovereign, which gradually we are becoming. The UK started with Brexit; it has a long way to go still, and the US is proceeding in a different way because it's a different country. But other countries need to do this as well. There's still a lot to be done, but they are absolutely not invulnerable.